Hi everyone, this is Ann. I've received several requests to do my AM and PM skincare routines and also a get ready with me on how I do my daily makeup. And so today's video is going to be my AM skincare routine plus my everyday makeup routine. And as always, I'll go ahead and link all the products that I use beneath this video in the description box, which you can get to by following these instructions. And if you want to learn any more about a certain product, you can just click the link and read more about it. So every morning I start out by just rinsing my face off and patting it dry. And then every morning or every other morning, depending on how rushed I am for time and if my skin is irritated or not, I'll typically do a light exfoliation of my skin. And I have two physical exfoliants that I really love. One is by Nip and Fab, and this is the glycolic scrub. The other one is by Derma E, and this is their microdermabrasion scrub. Both of these scrubs have sand-like particles, and so they're fine enough particles that they just really polish the skin nicely. I do go ahead and use my little Olay brush, and it's just a cleansing brush that spins, and it's not real aggressive. It's gentler than a Clarisonic is. So I'll just work the scrub in all over my neck, my face, my chest, and the backs of my hands every morning, typically before I jump in the shower. And I do go across my lips to exfoliate my lips as well. And then after I've exfoliated and rinsed off my face and patted it dry, I go ahead and put on a peptide serum, and the one that I have been using for years is by Derma E, and this is their Deep Wrinkle Peptide Serum. It absorbs quickly, it's lightweight. I just apply it to my neck and my face and gently massage that in. I follow that up with my vitamin C serum, and mine is almost empty, as you can see. I'll link what it is beneath this video. It's an Active C stable vitamin C serum, and it has 5% vitamin C, and I just put a little bit on my neck and my face. Again, this product does absorb quickly. It is lightweight, and I put these two serums on before I put on my makeup. After I've applied my peptide and my vitamin C serum, and I let those soak in for just a few minutes, I go ahead and apply just a little tiny bit of a primer. And I like one by Peter Thomas Roth. This is his Skin to Die For primer. And it's supposed to be like a no filter type of primer that kind of blurs the appearance of wrinkles, lines, and pores. And it is slightly mattifying, so it helps to control oil throughout the day. So I just apply a tiny bit of this to my face and a little bit on my neck before I apply my makeup. After I have a little primer on, I go ahead and apply my foundation. And the one that I like to use on a daily basis is by IT Cosmetics, and this is their regular CC Plus cream. It's not the illuminating one, it's just the regular one. And I wear mine in the shade medium. This does have my SPF in it. It's SPF 50. And so I just apply one pump and apply that starting in the center portion of my face, so my forehead, my nose, and my chin area, and then I work that kind of outwards on my face. I apply another half of a pump, and I apply that on my neck. I just work it in with my fingers, and then once I've worked it in with my fingers, I do go over it with a makeup brush. And I really like the Artist brush. It's nice and smooth. It gives a beautiful finish to my skin, and I just really buff this into my skin for a nice, smooth, natural looking finish. And then once I have my foundation all blended in, I go ahead and apply my concealer. And one that I've been using that I absolutely love, I think this might be my very favorite concealer now, is by LA Girl. And this is in Creamy Beige. It is a little bit of a thicker concealer, so a little bit goes a long way, and it reminds me of the Tarte Shape Tape in that it's long wearing, and it does give really good coverage. It also tends to give a very natural finish, so I just apply a little around my mouth, around my nostrils, and then because I have kind of a bulbous shaped nose, and a thinner bridge to my nose, I like to apply a little of this across the bridge of my nose and on the inner portion of my eyes where I get a little bit of darkness. And then I just take a small beauty blender and dab that concealer into my skin, and that is all I do with the concealer. And then I like to apply a little mascara to my lower lashes, and my very favorite mascara that I use on a daily basis is by L'Oreal, and this is their voluminous false fiber lash mascara. I like to use mine in waterproof, and I just apply a little to my lower lash line. Then I take a Q-tip and just kind of clean up underneath my lashes in case any of the mascara got on my skin. Next, I go in with a primer slash eyeshadow for my upper lids, and I've just been using MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, and I just apply a tiny bit to my upper lids and blend that in with my fingers. And then I take a tiny little brush and I put a tiny bit underneath my lash line just to help brighten up my lower lash line, and I just work that in with the little tiny brush. And then I go in and I line my lower lash line with IT Cosmetics No Tug Liner, and I use the shade Copper on my lower lash line, and then I take a tiny little Real Techniques brush and I just kind of smear that in, kind of smudge it into my lower lash line. And then for my upper lashes, I like to use the IT Cosmetics Navy No Tug Liner in my upper waterline, and then I go in with a metallic liner from Stila, and I line just right on my upper lash line, and I go in with a little, if I could find it, a little smudge brush. It's not really a brush, it's a little smudger, and I just kind of dot this along my metallic liner to just kind of blend it out nicely and soften that line. Then on my upper lashes only, I take the L'Oreal primer and I just put it on the very ends of my lashes, and I just do this to both, and then I go in with my voluminous false fiber lash mascara that I used on my lower lashes, and I just go over the primer with the mascara. And I don't bring my mascara or my primer all the way down to the base of my lashes. I just kind of keep them on the ends of my lashes just to give my eyes a little bit more of a open look to them. And then I take my little lash comb and I just kind of comb out my lashes to give them a more natural, less clumped effect. And then I take a Q-tip and I just clean up my upper eyelids if I got any mascara on them. And I go in on my brows with NYX Brow Mascara, and mine's in the shade Blonde, and I just kind of use the little mascara type of wand and just apply it to my brows just to define them a little bit and add a little bit of volume to them. And then since I do have under eye wrinkles, what I like to do is I like to remove any makeup that is from my orbital bone up to my liner. And so I just take a Q-tip and starting in the center portion of my eye and going outwards, I just gently wipe off any makeup that's in that area. And then I go in with a moisturizer, and I like the Cocoa Butter Stick with SPF 30 in it. And I just apply a little of this on that area that I just wiped with the Q-tip. And then I dab it in with my fingers and also with a little beauty blender just to smooth out those lines. And then throughout the day when I smile, the lines are a little less noticeable because makeup tends to make my lines look a whole lot worse. So I like to remove the makeup in just that area and apply a moisturizer. And then I take a very subtle highlighter, and I like the one by Physicians Formula, and this is their Glow Pearls in Translucent Pearl. And I just take a little e.l.f. brush and I just take a tiny bit of this and apply it to my inner portion of my eye just to help brighten up that area. I also like to apply a tiny bit in the corners of my mouth just to kind of give that area a little lift. And those are the areas that I apply a subtle highlight to. And then to contour, I just use one by Smashbox, and this is their new pencil contour stick. And it's very blendable. A little bit of this goes a very long way, so be careful if you use this. Just to use, start out with a little bit, and you can always add more if you need it. I put just a tiny bit underneath my chin, across the top of my forehead, underneath my bottom lip. And because I do kind of have a more bulbous shaped nose, I like to kind of try to contour the tip of it slightly by adding some on each side of the tip and across the bottom part of the tip. And then I just blend this in, some of it with my fingers, which would be underneath my chin and up on my forehead. And then I just use a tiny little brush from e.l.f. to blend in underneath my lip and around my nose area. And you do want to just be very careful with blending because this is so blendable. It's easily moved to areas you may not want it. So just really take your time and blend it in well. And then I like to go in and line my lips, and I typically just kind of line the center portion of my lips and kind of bring it out slightly along my lip line. And one that I always love is by Maybelline, and this is their Color Sensational in Purely Nude. And again, I just kind of overline slightly in the center portion of my upper and lower lip, and then I pat it in with my finger just to kind of set it. And then I just go in with a plumping gloss, and sometimes I'll use a plumping lipstick or a plumping gloss, and I'll just list some of my favorites beneath this video down in the description box because I do kind of change them up daily depending on my mood or what I'm wearing. So I'll list some of my favorites that I like underneath this video, but I do always use a plumping gloss because it helps to just smooth out the lines that are in my lips so that my lips look a little bit fuller, plumper, and just more youthful and smooth. And then for blush, I've been using Stila's Lilium, which is in their convertible colors. This can be used on your lips, it can be used on your cheeks. It's kind of an all-over stain type of product. And I just use it on my cheeks as my blush. I take a little tiny beauty blender, which I'll also link beneath this video. And this color is just kind of a really pretty peachy tone. And I like to apply my blush a little bit higher and more inward than some people do. I think it gives a little bit more of a youthful look, on me at least, than having it on the outer portion of my cheeks. So I typically just add a little bit of product with my beauty blender and start dabbing it where I want it, and then kind of work it in from there. And then I turn it over, and this has a flat edge on it, and I kind of blend the edges of where I have my blush, and then I go in with an angled blush brush from e.l.f. and I just kind of dot this over where my blush is so that it's kind of maintained and blended in the area that I've applied it. Next, I like to set some of the areas where I have my concealer by my inner eye area, around my nose, and on the edges of my mouth and on my chin. And the one that I really love most, and I've tried all kinds of setting powders, and I always go back to this one. It's by Neutrogena, and this is their Shine Control in Translucent. And I just use a little Real Techniques brush and get a little product on it and start just kind of dabbing it in areas that I want to set the makeup. And I don't do my entire face because I don't want, not that this is powdery, but I don't want to add powder on to my entire face. So I just want to set the areas kind of where I have the concealer. So on my inner eye area, around my nose, around my chin, my mouth, and I do put a little over my upper lids. This is actually not powdery at all, and it really gives a nice, just natural finish. You really can't even detect it on the skin. So I love this product and always use this to set my makeup. And then finally I go in with the oil absorbing sheets, and I typically either just get the store brand or I'll get the Clean and Clear brand, and they're just little blue sheets, and I just lightly press them over my nose, my chin, my forehead, a little bit on this inner area of my nose, anywhere that can tend to get a little bit shiny, and it just helps take a little bit of that excess oil out, and then I don't need to powder or blot until probably about dinner time. So I've been using these for literally decades and would highly recommend them. They're great to carry in your purse, and if you find that you are getting shiny throughout the day, they're great just to take one and dab the area. Typically they don't take off makeup at all, they just remove the oil, and these little sheets are great. Next, I'll be doing my PM skincare routine. I do put up 1 to 2 new videos each week, so if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you like my content, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you to those of you who requested that I do an updated skincare routine and also a get ready with me with my makeup routine. I really appreciate the great requests, and if you guys have any other requests for me, please put them in the comments beneath this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I do kind of on a daily basis to get ready. Thank you so much for watching.